NXT Takeover 25 has come and gone, and even though it's a bit weird, because it is an NXT Takeover event that just appeared from nowhere, you don't have to worry about that when the quality is as good as it was. And if you don't know, there is a small spoiler. If you're tuning in to get some downs, we've got one down, just one, and I kind of pulled it out my ass a little bit, because this show was damn good. And what an amazing week we have had. As wrestling fans, we had Double or Nothing, and now we're getting Takeover 25. My name is Simon, and this is WhatCulture Wrestling, and let's up those downs for that damn show. As we just hinted at, I know that most takeovers are brilliant, and you and I come on platforms like this and we rant and rave saying how incredible they are, but maybe something that's a little bit understated is that every opening match we get on these, well, it just blows your mind. Surprise, surprise, here it was Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong, and that trend continued, and therefore, let's get it up. Strange point too, but if you did listen to the Wade Keller-John Moxley interview that went live over the last few days, you will have learned that Vince McMahon apparently, and I'm sure it is true, John Moxley / Dean Ambrose has no reason to lie, but you will have found out that Vince McMahon isn't a big fan of professional wrestling matches that is just spot, 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 spot. He likes a story. Well, Vinny boy, in this match, you got the best of both worlds, because not only did Roderick Strong and Matt Riddle, I don't think they ever let up. I can't remember seeing one rest hold, but they also told a narrative as Strong focused on Matt Riddle's back. And I can only imagine how much pain Matt will be in this morning, because my word was that a focal point. Riddle sold it all wonderfully because he couldn't pull off some of his signature moves because his latimus dorsi and surrounding areas were too bruised. And I do just want to throw in there, we hinted at it earlier, as good and as excited as we all got about All Elite Wrestling, don't forget that NXT has been smashing it for the last few years or so. And again, you need to go out of your way to check this out, just because it will put a smile on your face. It was proper hard hitting too, as they absolutely hit lumps out of each other. And if you want something to go out there and talk about, Mauro Ranallo called Matt Riddle's running knee the V-trigger. Oh my God, he's taking shots at Kenny Omega. It was booked to cement the former UFC man as a true babyface though, as he was able to fight back and muster up the courage to get a few moves in and eventually hit Roderick Strong with the Roderick, which was basically like a cradle tombstone. So that was nuts, and he got the 1, 2, 3, and the crowd rightfully stood up and they clapped Matt Riddle like, boy howdy, I tell you, when you get to the main roster, you'll probably be buried, but until then, you a damn good professional wrestler. This was a genuinely brilliant way to open any show, and the fact that it was on NXT Takeover 25 was just the icing on the cake. So yeah, let's go back to it. Aren't we lucky to be wrestling fans right now? The only thing that kind of sucks is Raw and SmackDown, but then Raw had Party Brock, you remember that? That was funny, and it had Braun Strowman shouting at The Miz for having a kid. So there's even positives we can take away from there. But yeah, honestly, when this was done, I did this. I just sat shaking my head and was like, these people are really good at pro wrestling. You weren't allowed to rest though, as then we went straight into Lorcan and Birch, taking on the Forgotten Sons, taking on the Street Profits, taking on the Undisputed Era. And as you know, in any ladder match that comes under the WWE banner, you're gonna see some absolute carnage. Give it up. Poor Kyle O'Reilly too. I don't know whether he saw what Finn Balor did at Money in the Bank a few weeks ago and go, Finn, hold my beer, or he just fancied getting his ass kicked this evening, but he couldn't do anything without his back getting hurled into a ladder. And I know that that was the story of the Riddle encounter that we just talked about, but there is no way. Kyle O'Reilly may not even have a back right now. Kyle O'Reilly just may be like arms and a torso, and then when he turns around, his back's been chopped off because he was in too much pain. It was also very well done because somehow, and I don't really understand it, everybody involved managed to take bumps onto said ladders that looked like they'd fallen in a really horrible way, but actually when you saw the replay, you're like, oh no, they meant to do that. They just, again, they found a way to make it look terrible at the time, but afterwards, it was relatively safe, or as safe as getting thrown onto a ladder can be. So in that sort of direction, this was quite an innovative and unique ladder match, and that's really hard to do in 2019 because how much brutality have we seen? So again, let's bust out the clap again. At one point, I said to Phil, Phil, maybe for ups and downs, we should just clap the whole show. And that would have been enough. I didn't even need to say anything. Just an ongoing clap. After every fall as well, I also worried that somebody was genuinely dead. That is how just off the chart this was. So a salute to anybody that's involved in a ladder match. It hurts just to take a normal fall onto a matte canvas. Ladder matches in WWE. I mean, we say, oh, it's PG. I guess this is PG, but it's hardcore PG. We also had a team in the Forgotten Sons that people genuinely hated, and that always makes the emotion a lot better. And it's rare down at NXT because we have so much respect for what the product does that usually most people get a free pass. But like I say, everybody hated these lot. So when Jason Riker got in and took out Kyle O'Reilly, because again, that was the theme of the match, take out Kyle O'Reilly, and then he took out the rest of the pack too, the fans were genuinely mad. And they also chanted, "We forgot about you," or something like that. It's one of those chants that make me happy. I know every now and then a crowd can go into business for themselves and it's really frustrating. This was just quite comical. After yet more potential deaths, Triple H saw a vision into the future and decided to turn a tag team into a major deal within a matter of seconds. Because Lorcan and Birch and the Undisputed Era were on the top of the ladder, but then the Forgotten Sons appeared from nowhere and pushed them off. And for just a split second, it looked like this hated of teams was going to win until the Street Profits appeared from nowhere. They took them out, they pushed them off the ladder, and that's right, they got the tag team titles, and they are your new NXT Tag Team Champions. So just like that, they fly up to the top of the card, including a performance that's worthy of another clap. But I don't want to overdo the clap because, I understand you'll start getting pissed off with it. But you don't get bad ladder matches, just not only in NXT, but in WWE as a whole. And this was the second match on the card? I can't remember because I'm worn out from talking about it. But two matches in on this card. You should go and watch this card. It's another up too because I'm only a human being and I cannot tell a lie because we got Tyler Breeze versus the Velveteen Dream for the North American title. And let's just make a pact now. You and I, get your pinkies out. Pinky swear, let's never send Tyler Breeze back to the main roster because clearly his home is down here in NXT. That's right, he's getting it up. The real joy was seeing Tyler back in his element, and sure, let's call a spade a spade. This wasn't the Tyler Breeze we remember from 2014 or 2015, but it's a hell of a lot better than the Tyler Breeze we remember from 2018, because that version is basically just a ghost. He didn't exist. Here he definitely existed, and again, he was just so happy to be there. The fans were happy to be here. I was happy for him to be there. #happy. As you'd imagine, this was a pretty character-driven match, but that helped too, because it paced out the show. We had hard-hitting, and then a nice dose of personality. And never forget that deep down, the Velveteen Dream isn't a good guy. At one point, he was going to smash Breeze with the title, but Tyler took it off and was like, no, you don't. That's not how we do things here. But it did kind of throw Breeze off his game because from there, Dream hit the Dream Valley Driver. He hit that big elbow drop, 1, 2, 3. He is still your champion. Fans were split for that as well because how could you not be, given that their forgotten hero was back on the roster. And there's also a really good bit where halfway through, Velveteen Dream took Tyler Breeze's phone and he took a selfie of himself holding the title. I really enjoyed that. I really did. It made me chuckle. And yeah, I know there were a couple of spots that didn't hit home and some that literally didn't hit, but people still took bumps. But we don't jump down people's throats just because they make a mistake, because we're all human and we all make mistakes from time to time. Everything else they did here was absolutely awesome. And I think you need to do this. This came straight after that ladder match, which had exhausted the audience. I bet if you watch this in a few weeks in and on itself, like just with the context of this match, I bet you like it a hell of a lot more. I will say that weird count-out thing didn't help. Basically, Tyler Breeze had hit Velveteen Dream with the beauty shot. Because Dream's a smart cat, he rolled out the ring, but the ref was gonna count to 10. Tyler went up to him and said, no, don't count the 10. I want this match to end in the middle of the ring. Mostly because I can't win the championship if you count this guy out. But why did he do that when he could have just rolled out of the ring and rolled back in the ring, a rule that WWE has established for the last 22,751 years? That kind of did ruin the disbelief a little bit, because if you're a nerd like me, that's the first thing you thought. You're like, no, wait, that's not what we do. I understand the laws of wrestling. Why didn't you just do that? So we've got to be fair. If that had happened on the main roster, everybody would be up in arms about it. And therefore, just for that one little, it's going to get a down. But it's a tiny down. Look how tiny it is. Just a small, tiny, little pedantic down. I'm just trying to be as fair as I can. But look, don't worry, it'll go in a minute and vanish. The two embraced afterwards and took a selfie together, and that was very heartwarming. And again, that was very nice, and it made me happy. And we all forget that sometimes wrestling is only there to make you happy. It's there to entertain. And these two did that. I don't know why I looked down there. There's nothing down there, just a stand from where you can put like a script or a phone or maybe a lovely picture of Velveteen Dream and Tyler Breeze that they took. Point is, this was fulfilling stuff. A random note too, throughout the night we saw the likes of the Road Dogg and Shawn Michaels, and Stephanie McMahon was there at one point, and we had a video package for Damian Priest, who of course is the former Punishment Martinez, so maybe we're gearing up for a big push with him. And we're also getting a UK event, NXT Takeover Cardiff, in the UK about August. It's in August, so you can look forward to that as well. Shayna Baszler was next, and honestly, she is the absolute best. Why? Because she kicks everybody's ass and she never loses that title, and because we've stuck with her so long, I utterly believe it. Give it an up. The focus here was tormenting Io Shirai's elbow so that she could no longer punch her in the face, and that also tied in to the start of the match because Shayna was being a bit cocky and she was laying in strikes, but not as hard as she probably could have done. So when Shirai turned that on her and absolutely was pulverizing her, that pissed Baszler off. She's like, all right, I'm now going to negate your arm and you ain't going to be able to do anything. As you'd imagine, at one point Duke and Shafir also got involved, but they were taken out by Candice LeRae. So you can wait for that program down the line. But as you know, in pro wrestling, never ever get distracted. Always focus on your opponent, because this basically led to a series of moves that allowed Baszler to lock in the Kafurikuda clutch on Shirai. And even though she didn't tap once and she didn't tap twice, when she got it on the third time, that was it, that was done. You don't get out of that move. She did tap out. That was a tap as well. That wasn't more clapping. I'm done with the clapping. That was her tapping out. No one taps out like that. Imagine a match, that's how somebody tapped out. You think they were like a seal. I also want to point out that that finishing move is now absolutely devastating because it wins all the time, and clearly it lit a fire under Io Shirai's ass because afterwards she went absolutely crazy. She hit Shayna with a kendo stick and a chair-assisted moonsault. So I guess we're going to carry on this program at some point because, yeah, Shayna was on the floor and Io was standing tall. Also, if anyone's a bit pissed off that Baszler is still the champion, imagine how amazing it's going to be and what a big deal it's going to be when she loses that title. Then she'll probably get called up to the main roster and she'll be jobbed out because that's what happens to NXT superstars. So if you do dislike her, you can wait for that moment and sit there and go, ha 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 ha, finally I got my due. Also, just so you know, that makes you an asshole. You should want success for all wrestlers, unless of course you're kayfabing it, then it's all okay. Main event time now, and my word, I will be honest with you, I will be straight up. I don't think Gargano versus Adam Cole from Mania weekend was the best match I've ever seen, but it was an absolute barn burner. But when you take that and you mix it with what these two did at TakeOver 25, I don't think you can actually call out a better series of matches, or at least they are in that debate, they're in that argument. So it gets an up. Actually, no, scratch that, take it back, throw it on the air. Came out my mouth today. It gets a golden up. It just had everything you could possibly want from a title match in any kind of promotion on this planet, and it gets the usual, you should just go and watch it, ups and downs comment. There's almost too much to go through here, but all of it was absolutely wonderful. I'm going to guess that Gargano and Cole are more sore today than an All Elite Wrestling fanboy who gets told that Double or Nothing is overrated. That's joke, that's just me playing around and trying to wind everything up. It was just an easy zing, because, you know, sore also ties into, like, you know, Twitter and stuff and people being sore. Of course I love Double or Nothing. I love all wrestling. I'm a positive asshole. Cole continued to prove that he's just the man when at one point he shouted at Johnny Gargano, "You've already had your moments." There's all your character and personality stuff, and fair play to Johnny Gargano as well, who may be the most talented wrestler in the world and actually coming across like he's dead and he doesn't have anything else left in his body. He just flops around from time to time. You think, oh, that's it, Johnny, the life has left his soul and we're never going to see him again, but yet he always comes back. And then came that ending. Tying into that point, at one point Johnny did actually just collapse on the floor and had shades of Okada versus Omega, but this time Gargano was actually playing possum. So when Cole came to get him, he reversed that into the Gargano escape, and I genuinely thought that was going to be the finish. Unfortunately, we hadn't realized that Adam Cole had that scouted, and he just blasted Johnny with some knees to get out of it. Cole quickly realized that was all that Johnny had left, so he quickly hit him with the Banana Sunrise and the last shot. And if you can believe it, he got the 1, he got the 2, he got the 3. Your brand new NXT World Champion is Adam Cole. Now here is why that is brilliant. Not only does it have some fans up in arms because they cannot believe that Johnny Gargano lost the belt in his first defense, or at least within the first month of basically winning it, but it also shows that NXT has its finger on the pulse of what people want, or at least maybe what they don't want. Few had Cole winning for that very reason, so it surprised you, but it surprised you in a good way. When the title change happened, I was making noises like a goat giving birth. Just these strange things coming out of my mouth as I, like Johnny Gargano, just flopped around the place like, oh, I can't believe it. It also opens up a whole lovely new chapter to this story. What does Gargano do now? What's the next step for Adam Cole? We saw at the very end, the Undisputed Era were all celebrating with their new champ, so it looked like they were stronger than ever, but are they? We have had some hints of dissension in the ranks. So well done, everyone. Well worked. You've made me want to tune into the TV show, and that is exactly what a pay-per-view should do. You round up some stories, and you keep me wanting more. I can't remember the last time I saw a bad NXT Takeover. I was saying to the WhatCulture guys this morning, I basically had to make up a down just to try and give some balance. I'm not saying I don't agree with it. I did. Again, we would have given it for the main roster or AEW or whatever, so we've got to do it here. But that is a minor criticism on a night where NXT reminded us they're the damn best. Now remember, the most important thing of all is to never ever call these people up to the main roster, ever. No matter what happens, you stay down NXT, you keep doing your thing, and let's just make NXT so popular that it's bigger than Raw and SmackDown, and then we won't have a problem. Although if that does happen, Vince McMahon will realize that, and he'll then take charge, but then Raw and SmackDown can become good again, but then you'll get that role reversal too. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do except enjoy it while we've got it. So that's what we'll do. And you should do that right now, if you haven't already, by going and watching NXT TakeOver 25. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about the event and get mad at that down I gave. I know how it works. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE, and watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. It's Sunday, that's the point. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you very much for watching. What a great event. I'm feeling good. Well, kinda. Had a match with Martin Kirby last night in Defiant, and kind of feel like I got hit by a bus, which you wouldn't think, but I do. But as I just said, I'm so happy. I'm so happy from having that match. I'm so happy by watching all this. I'm just a happy chap. Gonna push the happy button, which means I go down in my happy lift. And today, that's how this episode of the show ends. You have good times, have good lives, have good everything. I'll see you soon.